Go.
Here we go.
All right. All right, I'll tee it up. Hey, everybody. It's day 3 of Through This Together. Episode 3, day 3. We're calling this one, What's Our Tagline? Because, 1, we don't have a tagline, and 2, we don't have a better name for the episode. So at the end of the episode, we will mention what our tagline is. Chris has one in mind. I don't, so I'm hoping between now and then I can come up with something. Yeah, but we'll jump right in. We kind of mentioned yesterday in the show the format, which will be not totally locked down, but it starts with what's happened since the last time we did the show. So we have a couple of things written down, and if anything else comes to mind, we'll talk about that. First thing, we're both in the States. There's a budget, or there's a bill being passed. I think there's probably more than one. It has to do with stimulus. It has to do with a lot of things. It's happening so fast, and there's so many details, and it's not final. We're not going to dive super deep into the details, but we will promise to do a little research in between now and tomorrow's show, and hopefully things are a little bit more settled and maybe approved, and the bill is passed, and we'll talk about the deeper details tomorrow. So, but that's definitely going on. That's a big thing for America at the moment.
Yeah, it's basically what a trillion plus stimulus package that includes paying people cash up to $1,000 plus a month for whatever they need. So yeah, it's a whole lot of money certainly being laid up on the table, and we don't really even have right now a clear picture on how many people are going to be impacted or in need, but it's a lot, and we're all going to need something. So let's see how it goes. We'll keep everybody posted.
Yeah. Also, next thing on the list is it looks like the overall total of infected people in Europe now surpasses that of China. So China was the first, and all eyes were on China. Right. The numbers went up to about 85,000, if I remember correctly, and kind of stopped at that point. And I'm not sure what Europe is. I don't know if you know. But
no, I don't know the total number. I was just actually focusing on Italy, looking at that this afternoon. And, Italy looks like this weekend they'll surpass the death rate in China in half the time, that they've been experienced. Maybe even more than half. They were China. Their first case was technically, the November 17th. So it got a really slow start. But then you see what's happening in Italy. It's just happening so fast, and I'm sure the elderly population has a factor there. But yeah, crazy. And it also kind of leads to even wondering what numbers are real in China. If we're really looking at apples to apples, it seems there's some missing data.
So. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to get too deep into it, but I know you have some relatives or relative-in-laws that are in Italy. Kind of the story about that. That's a little bit eye-opening.
My nephew, his fiance is from Italy. She has lots of family in Italy. Obviously, they still live in Italy. Some point of the year. Her parents have since become United States citizens, so they go for a portion of the year. Anyway, she has 2 aunts that are in their 40s that are both in the ICU. One is in critical condition, and the others, hoping, for recovery. So, reality check. It's not just old people. These are 2 people in their 40s, relatively healthy people. Our age. That's it. And it's scary. It's scary what's happening. And then you look at something that came out a couple of days ago. Doctors are having to make decisions on whether to let people die because they just simply don't have the resources to take care of them. And it's, that's what the word triage is, right? It's an awful thing to think about where that word came from. It's really about these situations, having to determine who should live and who should die. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Right. So definitely thoughts and prayers for them in the ICU, and hopefully they make it through it.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's kind of it for what's happened. At least I can't really think of anything. I hate to ever say that not a lot has gone on, because things are going on all around us all the time. But those are kind of the highest level items I could think of. Yep. The next thing is about what's going on in our houses. But I thought maybe because we did it yesterday, we could talk a little about what beer we're enjoying right now.
All right. Well, yesterday I had my expensive, incinerator IPA, which was pretty good. Today I'm going budget, and this is the Trader Joe's
Oh, that's
Old
right. Yeah.
Swain IPA. This is a really strong beer. It's like an
I've heard.
8.4.
Yeah.
So for $4.99 for a 6-pack, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So, and it's not the best IPA, but it'll do for tonight.
So speaking of IPAs, I have what is it called? It is Sierra Nevada's. I always get this wrong, but hazy
Oh yeah,
little IPA, hazy little thing IPA, and this is my favorite IPA, at least as of lately. And it's super good, super strong flavored.
really
And
happy.
yeah, super hoppy, of course, but it's good. So
Love
yeah,
happy
got
beer.
beer at the end of the day.
Love Sierra Nevada too. Nice to see that they got it in a can. Sure, it tastes a lot better. I'm all about beer in cans.
They've been going cans big time. You could tell they're switching to cans.
I just taste much better. Who knew I would say that? I would have said that a decade ago. I've been a snob and said I need it in a glass.
It's like the screw tops for wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
I'm still on the fence with those.
it's funny. All right. So what's been going on in your house the last 24 hours? How are you adjusting to this? Are you iterating? Are you doing things better every day, working next to your family?
I don't know. It's a dichotomy, I think. For me, I work from home a lot, and there's a certain discipline working from home. My schedule, when I eat, how I make calls, that's all changed because now I have 3 other people in the house who are here when I'm working from home. So lunch is an ordeal. It's not coming down and grabbing, a bowl, a little thing of hummus and some snacks. It's really, okay, let's make lunch. Now, breakfast is the same thing. Dinner, has always been the same, but it just puts a little bit more pressure on the day. I could definitely feel, a little claustrophobic. I can tell my wife's, doing her best to adapt to not having her work environment, not having her team within reach, not being able to communicate and, perform simple business tasks in a quick and efficient way. The delay, just the idea of having to send an email and waiting, or having to pick up the phone and call somebody and wait for them to call you back. If you're not using platforms like Slack or Discord or something like that, and you're really used to working in a traditional office environment, this is a huge change.
Yeah, it's a big.
So yeah, for her, that, and the kids are doing their thing with school, trying to figure out some extracurricular fun things we can do. We need to get creative, and tomorrow night we're gonna have a movie night, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's same with me. I learned one thing today, that I need to schedule my meetings around my daughter's school sessions, because I had a meeting that started I had a meeting from 1 to 2, and my daughter's second session starts at 1:30, and I had already started my meeting when I realized, oh no, my daughter's just about to get on her session, and you're gonna have classroom noise in the middle of my my meeting. So lesson learned on that.
Right.
Also, what was I going to mention? I'm definitely working longer. For me,
Right.
we're not, unlike you. I'm not doing the everybody come have lunch at the same time. All the family is just coming down, grabbing stuff, going back upstairs, and going to do a thing. My wife cooks for my daughter. But I definitely didn't find time to get too much of a lunch, so I'm like eating cup of noodles on a freaking call. So I'm learning. I need to plan that a little bit better. But yeah, work. It's hard to find the end of your day, when you don't have to go home or get on a bus or do anything. It's just kind of keeps going. Everybody works as long as the latest person works. Basically, it seems like.
Yeah, I think hopefully that will correct itself a little bit. We'll all become more efficient within this new process, and it's strange because we're a distributed company. We all work remotely really well when we do need to work remotely. But I can tell just the last 72 hours we've had a slow kind of out the gate, this week. And it's really the distractions at home. It's a factor.
Yeah.
We all are living different lives and needing to tolerate, the distractions that we were so spoiled that we didn't have before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have kids are playing Minecraft around me all day long when they're not on in class, and I'm having to they're or whatever they're playing, and they're yelling at the TV or whatever. And then my daughter was like, yell at the TV, and then she's like, "Are you still on a call?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on a call." So
I was going to call earlier. My son's, screaming at his buddy playing Call of Duty. What are you doing? What are you doing? I was like, oh man, come on.
I'm glad my sons are like in the opposite side of the house from me, because they're teenage boys, just not saying stuff you want anybody to hear on the phone.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But I guess one last thing I'll mention before we kind of move to the next section is that I got my first call from my parents today, where they were like, and my parents live real close to me, maybe 2-minute drive. And for the longest time, I'd been like, you need to stay home. You need to stay home. Don't go out. This is a big deal. Big deal. And I think they were kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. And then everything got pretty real with the shelter in place. And today they called me and they were like, can you go to the store? And I was like, yep. And they're like, well, let us create a list, because we don't want you to have to keep going back and forth, back and forth. Well, we put together a good list, and then you can go all at once and stuff like that. So I know they're taking that seriously, and I'm happy they are, and I'm glad that I live near them. So that makes me feel fortunate.
Right? Yeah, how fortunate. I mean, I'm in the same boat. My parents are 10 minutes away from us, and my in-laws are 15 minutes away. So it's really, I couldn't imagine being on the other side of the state, or 5 hours away, and themselves. It's
totally.
So, yeah, that's good. Good news. And I'm going to do the same. I'm actually going to go do a run for my mom tomorrow and get what she needs. She's got a big list, and we'll go out there and brave the world, and watch everybody in Chicagoland not wearing masks and not really caring. And I'll shamelessly wear my mask to the to the store and do my thing.
Me too.
It's what it is. But we want to transition over to some funny stuff.
Yeah, some funny stuff. Positive / etc. is what we're calling it so far. But yeah, I one thing that I thought was funny today, my wife was on Facebook. I don't tend to go on Facebook as much as I used to, but there is a channel, or it's not a channel for Facebook, whatever, a group of people in the know from my town. And they said, post what your kids are doing to annoy you, but instead of calling them your kids, call them your coworkers. So
yeah, actually, my Stacy saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Actually, I forget all of them, but one person said, "I'm potty training my coworker, and I'm busy working, and my coworker decided to pee in my kitchen."
That's great. That's great.
I couldn't imagine potty training a kid right now. I mean, I've done it, but geez, I'm sure some people have it a lot tougher than we do. But I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. No, working and then at the same time dealing with toddlers and not having daycare right now has got to be a new level of insanity.
Yeah,
but,
I could imagine.
But honestly, I look back; those days are pretty cool too. For what they were. Yeah. Here, I'll show one of my positive tweets here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and screen share real quick. So this is my Twitter. This is something that kind of struck me. This woman says, "Imagine the shelves were empty because people were donating to the less fortunate. What a different world this would be." So yeah, I thought that was really cool. It's like a different perspective on us all going to the grocery store and trying to hoard what we need. Imagine if these grocery stores were empty because we've came together and gave. And it actually reminds me of of watching Jimmy Fallon last night. Jimmy Fallon is doing his best to provide entertainment from home in his New York apartment, and he's picking a charity every night
cool.
To focus on. So he focused on feedhumanity.org, I think was the charity, but it was really about just understanding that we're all here in our homes with our kitchens and our food, and there are a lot of people out there who have nothing, and are now even more, in dire straits because of the situation. So something to think about. I'm sure everybody can do their own thing in their local community, and everything's a little different in how that works. But that, and then get the opportunity. Who knows? I don't want to say I want to do it right now, but blood drives have been canceled. Blood drives are a problem, and blood's going to be a problem for our country at some point. So maybe they'll figure out a safe way to communicate how we can give blood in an environment that won't put ourselves and the people who are the medical staff at risk. So I realize I've been on this screen share for the whole time, so I'm going to go back here and just share the second one that I've got here. This is Venice hasn't seen clear water in their channel in a long time, and there's pictures of dolphins.
Oh, that's so cool, dude!
Swimming through the the channels or the canals rather, the canals in Venice. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So the positive side of what's happening.
I have to give it up to the Italians, dude, because I've seen numerous posts of them making the best out of their situation, singing from their decks or playing instruments and really just kind of being positive. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think we need a little bit more of that out here in the US of A.
Yeah, agreed.
But so here's one that you put up there.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty funny. I it's funny, and I'm sure somewhat true. To some extent in the future, we'll have these memories of this situation. Hopefully they're not super horrible, but there's no doubt that this time is something we will all remember for either the minimal discomfort we go through or, as tough as it gets, we'll remember it. No doubt about it. So I thought this was pretty funny.
That's funny. And then I had another one that, where's the other? Oh, no, I don't know where your other one is now. Did you have one?
Don't worry about the other one. It wasn't. It was more about. It was kind of riffing on how pretty much all kids' graduations this year are done. There's going to be no graduations. And this one thing actually that makes me think of is there was a group of a school in Japan that had because they're on trimester, and they would be graduating right now, and the graduation ceremony got canceled. So they did a graduation ceremony in Minecraft. And They built a graduation ceremony hall. They had speeches. They had people walk up and get some kind of diploma. So I thought that was cool on many levels.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, so many. You think about the NCAA, how many athletes, senior athletes, who this was their opportunity to be in the championships. This is waiting their whole life for.
Yeah.
Graduating, walking across the aisle. How many high schoolers, potentially won't be graduating, in their, in the traditional fashion, it's awful. It's awful to think about that, because that was such an important part of my life, in those moments in my life. I can't imagine, them just being taken away like that.
Totally.
So yeah, I think that kind of covers funny. We're talking a little bit about tips yesterday, and kind of just some tips. I don't know that I have a specific tip today, but if you got something, I've got to
Yeah. Other than schedule your meetings around your kids' class time, that's for sure. But
it's a good tip.
Right. We're definitely learning to cook out of the box, or not out of a box, from scratch. So I think maybe in the future I'll post some stuff. Like my wife made some casserole right now that at least looked really good. I haven't had it yet, but she's getting fancy in the kitchen. So maybe as we find stuff like that, as we find tips for getting through this. Oh, I would say, at least for me, I'm realizing I need to always have my laptop charger in the same place. I need to always have my phone charger in the same place, because I'm, in between meetings and I'm moving around from my laptop trying to find the quietest place, and I'm, sharing, presenting, and all of a sudden I get that your battery's low thing on the screen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did I put my charger? So now I'm getting more regimented about that. But yeah, I got burned on that today.
Yeah, I can feel that, man. I'm pretty fortunate. I've got a desk space here that nobody's commandeering yet, so we'll see how that goes. I may switch it out with my wife, here and there. So yeah, I'm lucky in that regard. I got my kind of my little corner. But we did set up my daughter's desk yesterday, and that's been a good space for her in her room. And I think everybody is able to today, compared to yesterday, was just be a little bit more isolated and focused on our work, versus on top of each other. So
Yeah, I hear you.
making progress, adapting
Speaking,
and evolving.
speaking of daughters, since I think we're pretty much at the end of the show, I was going to call up my daughter who wants to be on YouTube for a second
Right.
so she can be famous, as she said. So I'm going to go call her right now. Give me a sec.
Sounds good. All right. My little girl was actually wanting to get involved, so we'll bring her in, and she can pop in the next couple of shows and say hello. And I love for anybody who is watching the video or interested in what we're doing or getting involved in us. Please leave a comment, subscribe to our video. This is obviously amateur hour, and we're trying to just kind of document our experience and have some fun. But yeah, would love to hear your feedback and get your endorsement. Hey,
Hey, I don't know if you remember Uncle Chris. Yeah, you've seen
it's
him
been
a
a
long
long time since I've seen you. You were very little the last time I saw you. You're getting just as tall as your mom almost, huh?
Pretty close, actually. So we're at the end of our show, and I know you said you wanted to be on the show. So
Yes, I very much did.
how do you like taking your class from home?
I love it
Is it
because then I can eat food in the middle of it.
you can eat food in the middle of your class? Oh, that's
That
nice.
is pretty cool.
And is your teacher doing a good job?
Yes.
And she's trying real hard. Are you really appreciative of her?
Yes.
All right.
You're having fun, right?
Mhm.
She's trying to.
That's
We have
great.
a lot of friends,
Lots of friends.
and most of them are crazy.
Yeah. And they're all going to get crazier with all this fun online and webcams. It's only going to get nuttier, I bet, too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
enjoy it and take care of your teacher. She's an angel. He's an angel.
Seriously. Patience.
That's right.
All right. Well, tagline.
Cheers, everybody. My tagline right now is just what I'm feeling and kind of relating to. It's serenity now. So that's my tagline right now. I'm gonna maybe adjust it later, but serenity now is definitely what I'm endorsing. We all focus and feel, do our best to find serenity in the moments of frustration, and find serenity with our family and our loved ones and the situation that we're in. So
Yeah. I think that's a very good one, actually. And I'll say, and I didn't think of one very well, but wash your hands, take care of your neighbors, and hopefully you got TP to wipe your butt.
very important. There is not going to be a shortage of TP. We don't need to worry about that. I was just reading an article yesterday. It's coming. The guys in Canada are manufactured in Canada. We've got lots of pulp. We can even supply America. We're good to go. So I still say invest in bidet technology.
Yeah, but maybe that would be one of our tips, is the working man's bidet.
Yeah, right. Oh, no. A little do-it-yourself, show down the road. Well, thanks, everybody, for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Subscribe, like.
Leave a like.
That's right.
And comment down below.
Ooh, look at that. She's a pro.
Yeah, you're the pro. Nice job, Mackenzie. Appreciate it.
All right,
All right,
guys.
buddy. We'll see you.
See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Peace.